Hey everyone, I just finished watching the next episode of Lightspeed Rescue: Rise of the Super Demons. It was really good. Um, it's kind of a weird one because I don't have much to say about it. Like, it's a really good episode. I really like it. It's like the tension is like built up and it really pays off in this episode. Uh, like it builds up to the finale perfectly. Like, how many episodes do we have left now? I'm looking at the. Oh yeah, we have 2 episodes left. So yeah, this is the last episode before the two-part finale. I really like the episode, and I'm trying to think what to talk about with it. Well, let's see. The synopsis. It starts off with the Rangers are testing a new Megazord, the Life Force Megazord, and kind of like before with the Trans Armor cycle, why are we introducing new tech this late into the series, like literally right before the end? Whatever. Like, I don't know. So after that, let's see, we cut to Diabolico's out in the forest. He's. Oh, and he's talking to himself, and he says, what was it? Lokai and Vipra. Shira killed them both, or whatever. And, oh, so, okay, so now he knows about Vipra. Don't know how he found out about Vipra or whatever. Olympius shows up. Diabolico is kind of surprised to see him out of the was it the Shadow World or whatever they called it. And Olympius is all ticked off and he wants to fight with Diabolico. They get into a big fight and it is really really cool to finally see these two like fight together. Like that's one of the things that's kind of missing in a lot of recent Power Rangers seasons is we don't really have like characters that you're excited to see like get into a fight or work together or anything like that. In the new seasons, we have a lot of like there's characters I like definitely like Mucus, she's awesome, and Slyther. They have a great uh, relationship together. I love how they work together, but like this is just a different level of from that. Um, Anyway, one of the really cool things is seeing like these are two big bulky suits. Olympius is a big bulky monster. Diabolico is a big bulky monster, and when you see them fight, like it's so surreal to think about. Like this is like it's two like stunt people in these big foam rubber costumes that are probably like geez, I don't know how much they would weigh. Like these are big costumes. Like and these are main character costumes too. So they're made far more durable than the average monsters. So these are probably like 100-pound costumes, like or more. And they're doing all these like crazy fights and attacks on each other. It's really amazing to see. Anyway, at the end of the fight, Olympius wins. He takes Diabolico back to Queen Banshira, and Queen Banshira casts a spell on him that turns him into a mindless zombie. And his like eyes go black, his horns and spikes go black also for some reason. The eyes on his chest go black. Alright. So anyway, then Olympius and Diabolico, Zombie Diabolico, they go to fight the Rangers, and the Rangers they see Diabolico. Diabolico, why would you work with Queen Ventura after what she did? And he doesn't answer. He's just. "Brr." And I love the body language on Zombie Diabolico, where he's just kind of like leaning there, like the only thing holding him up is I don't know Banshira puppeting him or whatever. So anyway, the Rangers are fighting with Olympius and Diabolico, and it's another really cool fight scene. We get to see them pull out a bunch of weapons on the bad guys, and that's cool to see. And at the end of the fight, Diabolico lifts up Carter, and it's again really cool. Let's see, Diabolico standing on top of this car, and he lifts Carter like right up off the ground. He's holding him up, and like I'm sure there's a harness or something holding up whoever is the stunt guy for Carter, but it's still a really impressive scene. And Carter is trying to talk to Diabolico, and he says, "Remember what Queen Banshira did to Lokai and Vipra?" Okay, so now the Rangers know what happened to Vipra. Okay, whatever. Anyway, this actually works. Diabolico gets his memory back, Then him and Olympius get back to fighting, and let's see, Olympius throws Diabolico back, and Carter runs over to help him. That was kind of cool to see, actually. I always like when we have scenes like this where the villains are kind of become, or the Rangers ally themselves with the villains in this way. It's something we really don't see much of. I'm trying to think of any other time it happened. Let's see, Time Force, kind of. Jindrax and Toxica and Wild Force, kind of. Mara and Capri, kind of. I'm trying to think of like other times where the Rangers allied themselves with the villains. Didn't happen much in the Disney seasons, I don't think. There was that one episode of Mystic Force with Matumbo being friends with Vita. Oh, and Necroli turns good at the end. Oh, spoilers. Sorry. um, oh yeah, I think Jungle Fury is probably like the biggest example where the bad guys just completely flip and turn on the other bad guys and join the Rangers against them. Yeah. So anyway, back to Lightspeed. Yeah, Diabolico gets his memories back, and then he gives Carter this little golden key and says that it can help him defeat Queen Banshira. Just then Olympius fires another rocket at them, and Diabolico pushes Carter out of the way, and he takes the hit. He blows up, and then the Rangers go to fight Olympius. They blow him up, then Banshira makes them both grow. And this is always a weird thing I've noticed, like, ever since I was a kid, when the monsters would grow giant, most of the time, they're exactly the same. They're just the same monster, but big. But once in a while, there's monsters that they grow and they look different. When Olympius grows, he turns into a dragon. When Olympius grows, he changes a little bit. It's subtle. He's not that different. He's more like, I don't know, he took some mutagen or something and became Super Shredder Diabolico, kind of. Oh, and he's back to being a zombie because... So the Rangers get all their Megazords, they get the Solar Zord, they're fighting Olympius and Diabolico, and all the Megazords take heavy damage, the Super Train gets its arm ripped off. That's always cool to see. I love when the Zords can, like, take heavy damage and they lose an arm, or there's a big chunk taken out of them, or they get a big scratch or crack or something. It's really cool. Another thing we don't see enough, like, even in the original seasons, the Zords being destroyed wasn't something we saw often, and I don't know why. Is it because, like, kids got upset when the Thunder Zords got destroyed and crap, what was the name of... I can't remember the name of the episode, the one where Rito first shows up, and we see the Megazords, like, just falling apart with wires sticking out, and there's sparks and flames shooting out, and the Rangers are screaming, and it was just really intense and cool, and I loved it. Like, as a kid, yeah, I took it seriously. Like, I remember seeing that and being like, whoa, what's happening? Like, it's like the world is falling apart when you're a kid. Then you grow up and you see it again, and it's like just, oh wow, that is so cool that they actually, like, went that far. And yeah, I can't think of too many other times where that kind of thing happened. Like, let's see, in Turbo we had a scene where the Megazord is, like, covered with bad guys, and it gets taken over by the bad guys. Oh, that kind of happened in Zeo, too, when, let's see, Impersonator and, crap, who was the other villain? The gear thing. I can't remember what his name was. They take over the Megazords, and Auric comes over, and he's trying to talk them. Okay, that one wasn't so cool, because Auric comes over, and he's like, I'd like to have a word with you and you. Can't we be friends? And they're like, no. And then he's like, okay, bye. And that was last week. But yeah, back to Lightspeed. I go off on tangents a lot, sorry. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Megazords are damaged, and the only hope is the Life Force Megazord. Remember that thing from the beginning? The Life Force Megazord introduction was so sloppy, I don't know why they did it this way. They really should have introduced it earlier in the series, like, I don't know, it could have been like a little, like, running thing that would pop up at the end, Like, the Rangers go back to the Aqua Base, and Fairweather's like, oh, hey, I'm working on this new thing. Then the next episode, okay, I have this thing. It's the Life Force Megazord. You guys are going to help me test it. And then the next episode, they're testing it a little bit. And then the next episode, like, they're getting a little farther with it. And then this episode, at the beginning, they're testing it. And it looks like it's almost ready. So when it shows up at the end, there was build up to it, and it's really cool. But the way it is, it just comes right out of nowhere, and it just feels like it's just there to be a Deus Ex Machina. I've never said Deus Ex Machina out loud before. It's a fun thing to say. Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina. Anyway, it's an okay Megazord. It's one of the big problems with it. I don't have any emotional attachment to it because it just showed up out of nowhere. When the Super Train gets damaged, I have emotional attachment to it. When the Solar Zord or the crap, what was the other one? Lightspeed Megazord. Was that all it was called? Whatever. I'm not good with Zord names, but yeah, I had an emotional attachment to these Zords because they're there in so many episodes. They were like always a reliable thing, and here they're just destroyed and immediately replaced. And I don't know, it feels kind of off. I don't think they handled that as well as they could have. Anyway, they defeat Olympius and Diabolico for good. So I'm trying to remember. Did the Rangers do anything else? I think they just head back to the Aqua Base. Then we see the Skull Cavern. Queen Banshira is talking to Jinxer. Oh, and she has this weird thing. She can shoot her little finger tendrils out and wrap them around the other bad guys. That's kind of cool. And she's threatening Jinxer. Give me another monster. And he's like, I have no monster cards left. And she's like, you're useless then. And he's like, oh wait, I just remembered. I put a battling card on the Megazord. And I love this. This is such a cool idea. I can't remember if they did it in Go-Go 5 or not. Did they? Like, I watched Go-Go 5 so long ago that, like, it's just very vague memories. Like, when I watched Lightspeed, there's a few, like, Japanese footage scenes or plot points where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that from Go-Go 5. And it kind of comes back to me, but for the most part, I only watched it that one time years ago. I watched it a little bit when I got the Shout Factory DVD. So was this a plot point over there? I don't think it was. I think this is something totally original to Power Rangers, but if it isn't, sorry. But yeah, if it was original to Power Rangers, it was a really cool and clever idea. It was a really unique way to utilize, like, the Aqua Base and the whole fact that the bad guys, their weakness is water. They can't get to the Aqua Base because they can't go in the water. But now, they've planted the card on the Megazord, so the Megazord goes down to the Aqua Base, then the card activates and they become the demons, and they're already there. Like Alien or something. So I always thought that was a really... Oh, actually, Alien's a really good comparison for what's about to happen, but I'll talk about that when I get to that episode. I guess that's all I have to say about this one. Ranger Wiki didn't really have too much interesting or awkward trivia listed, so that's all for this one. Hope you enjoyed this. See ya.